And welcome back, folks, to this first match for the finals of Iowa Division C. Over on the blue side, we have CUW Esports, and over on the red, we have the OC Eagles. Seed 1 versus Seed 2 in the first match here. Very exciting. My name is Mercenary, and joining me, as always, is going to be DJ. How you doing today, bud?
I am really excited, particularly after these drafts, Mercenary. We have some very nice drafts coming out from both teams here. A lot of strong champions coming out, some very focused team concepts here. One a little more focused on get Caitlyn strong, but can also team fight under normal circumstances. I would say it's a really, really good team fighting comp. But you look on the other side with this Vladimir, with this Zach, with this Mordekaiser, and you think that is the bigger team fighting comp there. And I am getting word from our producers that stream is coming up black now, so we will continue to walk you through what is going on while we work on fixing that issue. We do apologize for this, but we'll get it back up and running as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah, and if we can't get it running, you guys get to deal with our central voices here in a podcast format. So that should be exciting. And we're getting word now that it's starting to work here. So we'll see that in just a moment here. But very exciting nonetheless. Currently just a 5-point start. No one really starting anything vicious or aggressive. But we do have the side of CUW starting like directly in lane, probably trying to catch anyone off, just in case he's diving over there. But everyone's starting normally, diving straight into this matchup, and this should be a very exciting match nonetheless.
Yep. Unfortunately, as it looks like chat was hoping for one, we do not have any invades. Definitely not the type of junglers to see invades. Certainly, Zach, not a champion that wants anything going wrong with his early game clear. And Nocturne, definitely a champ that wants to power farm to 6 to have the biggest impact possible on the map. Nocturne, a couple years ago, even at Worlds, was an innovative strategy by a Vietnamese team to actually have the mid laner and bot laner help leash like 4 or 5 camps for the Nocturne to power farm him to 6 by the time that Fnatic's bot lane was level 4.
So that just shows you what up here in top lane though. Pass is going down on Saba Perceps. He's going to have to flash out of that one. And once again, you don't want Ornn diving straight into Doggy the Doggo there. And as you were saying before, my friend, that crazy little fight happened up there.
Yeah, no problems there. Unfortunate, right in the middle of the soliloquy, just not really expecting so much action to come out this early, but Doggy the Doggo hitting level 2 and deciding to really lay into Perseus here on the opposite side. And now Perseus is going to find himself at a pretty big disadvantage. Will be very low trying to farm these minions and trying to deal with this Mordekaiser for the remainder of this laning phase.
Yeah, definitely a real tough time happening up in the top lane. Camille in the mid lane. Zach is going to be taking his chickens, but Simjodic is definitely pushing up there, so we might see a rotation for some pressure here. But meanwhile, it also does look like Nocturne's going straight for the bottom scuttle, as he is ahead in farm right now, as Nocturne will tend to do it against a tanky clear like Zach. So he should be grabbing that one first, and does not look like Zach's going to want to go to contest for it anyways. But besides a little skirmish happening up top, mid lane is the only one who's taking a lot of damage, but it is Vladimir, so I might as well just knock on wood and say he's Vladimir. He's going to heal back up pretty quickly.
That is the case. You can see the rune Airy chosen for Syndrotic here to apply some lane pressure additionally to this Vladimir. So see, Vlad actually going very, very low here. Going to be forced to pool.
Ooh, forced a flash there as well, as the ball comes right out of left field, and he's gonna have to back off that one too. I guess he's not as strong as he can be during the late game. But everyone is currently cleaning up around shop right now. First raid coming up here is going to be an Ocean on around 40 seconds, so that should be exciting nonetheless, but there will be no Ocean Soul. We may see the Infernal, though, which would be pretty good for any of these teams, as we do have Heirloom doing almost a point-blank Q along with another Q happening there. Goon's going to take a root and take some damage from that one, but Spotlight's not having fun, as they do have Nocturne right behind them backing. Ooh, is he going to pull anything? This is pretty scary as Zach's coming around the corner. Nothing's going to happen. It's just the fear tactics. And everything's back to normal, it seems.
A little too early for the Nocturne to probably go in there even on a dive, really only with the spell shield. and only level 4, not a lot of health here. Is Afroboy looking over the wall, but I don't think he's going to want to do anything either here. But yeah, despite being in a tough position top lane, a lot of pressure here coming out from the bot and mid lane on the side of CUW, something you like to see. You know, I'm mentioning Syndratic picking that early game rune with Summon Airy, something that may not benefit him as much as a phase rush later in the game, but really using it to good effect now to send portals back early, force both of his summoners out, and will continue to try to use that rune to poke this Vladimir out of the lane and create an advantage for himself.
Yeah, definitely interesting happening there. Meanwhile, in top lane, solid damage having them. Perseus not able to pop the unstoppable just as he is coming through. It's no extra damage, but the Drake is up, so pressure will be around that one as the scuttle is down. Now, all the vision surrounding that one is going to be from the side of OC Eagles right now. Speaking of OC, looking in the mid lane, Portal's taking a ton of damage there just from solid Qs nonetheless, as he is starting to heal back up. Syndratic is not giving him a chance to breathe here.
Yeah, even noticing Syndratic has Scorch on as well, so really going all in into that lane poke, really wants to put that Vladimir down. It's definitely one of the better tactics for dealing with Vladimirs, you know, who do tend to just become sort of unkillable or unmanageable the later and later the game goes. But you can force him out. Hold on here, looks like they're going in.
Afroboy is going to try to jump in right on top of Syndratic, but a quick flash and know-how is going to keep him out of the way, forcing that Zac to back, and the pressure is right back on.
And it does force Ori's flash, but really not the worst thing there from Syndratic. I already knew he had the flash advantage from forcing Vladimir's earlier, so while he will be about on a minute delay when Vladimir's flash comes up, it will be a pretty short window that OC Eagles has to try to punish that one.
Yeah, a little bit of damage combos coming out there from Heirloom right on top of Sonic PJ, who got really close there in the end, but due to, of course, support item was able to heal back up just a little bit more, less out of harm's way. But meanwhile, Karma is going around for some behind vision over towards the blue buff right now. It's actually both junglers are starting to slowly but surely rotate towards that dragon. We might see a fight here happen shortly, as the pressure around dragon right now is over the side. Speaking of pressure, here comes Afroboy straight into the mid lane, pulling Syndratic back. Solid damage. The ulti's going to pull it away, but here comes Nocturne out of left field, doing some solid damage, getting first blood right on top of Vladimir. Zac is too low to fight and is going to have to back up, and that is the pressure that you need.
I was just about to mention it, Mercenary. You know, you mentioned the dragon and the pressure coming out from CUW, and I was about to say that, you know, OC Eagles really has no business moving in to contest this Drake whatsoever, because Penguinator was level 6. The Nocturne on level 6, Afroboy on the Zac only at level 5. Really no way you win a team fight with such an important ultimate up and another one down on the side of OC Eagles. But they decide to re-engage onto the flashless Orianna in mid lane, but Syndratic hadn't used his ultimate yet. So they go in, Syndratic lands a nice 2-man stun, and the jungle farming difference there from Penguinator comes in clutch as he ults in and gets first kill, but it looks like he's in trouble here.
Yeah, speaking of Penguinator, he's biting off a little bit more than he can chew, trying to take Grump and blue buff, ends up dying for it in the end. No ulti's going to save him there, giving one kill over straight to the Zac. But all that pressure that I just got right there is about to be lost, as the Drake is going to be maybe started here by the side. Doggy the Doggo has come down along with Perseus. The take begins. Multiple members are waiting around the wall. Here comes the Horn charging straight through. Not going to find anyone in the end, though. As Portals will dive underneath. The smite will come out, and that will be almost a defenseless dragon taken over the side of OC Eagles.
Yeah, and honestly, CUW getting caught there with their hand in the cookie jar, sinning, as LS would say. They do a nice job picking up first blood and creating pressure, but Penguinator greeds for that Gromp in the enemy jungle. They don't clear out the wards, and an easy teleport comes in from, I believe, either Portals or Doggy the Doggo or both, and all 5 members of OC Eagles collapse. They get a pick, and with the jungler down and in a 5v4, it's too hard for CUW to try to contest for that Drake. The hopeful Ornn ultimate doesn't get anything done, and yeah, without that jungler there, they lose what really should have been their Drake.
Real shame there in the end. Penguinator being a little bit too greedy. Will probably learn from his lesson here after that one. But now the only objective up is going to be that Rift Herald. Speaking of Drake now, it looks like we're not going to be getting the Infernal Soul either, as we're going to be diving straight into the next Infernal. So we're down to both Mountain and Cloud, which probably in the end here, the better one for both teams will be that Mountain Drake, giving them a little bit of boost of shield. But Cloud Drake would also be nice, probably for around this Portal's ulti, being able to pop that and dive straight in. Or maybe from Perseus as well. Overall, the cooldown will be nice for the ultis nonetheless.
Do you think either dragon will be nice? Do you agree with you that the Ocean will be more prized by these teams, particularly with the two mid laners we have in this game? Both can be quite bursty, and big shield from the Mountain Drake will really help against the ultimates from those two mid laners. But you can see here, Penguinator finally using his pressure to get onto an objective, but it looks like Afroboy hanging around. Here comes the arrow.
Arrow's not going to land, and unfortunately, Afroboy is not able to pop with the wall to drop the smite either. Doesn't want to risk his life for that in the end. But otherwise, both lanes have rotated here. Perseus is going to be chilling in the bot lane. He was behind earlier, and the bot lane was ahead anyways. But the chase is happening right now. Afroboy getting caught out just a little bit here, losing his red buff over to Penguinator, and just a solid pressure coming out from CUW right now is absolutely terrifying here for this lone Jax. Syndratic getting caught off guard here. He's gonna get pulled to, oh my goodness, a lot of damage on top of Afroboy, and yeah, this pressure is absolutely insane. Ooh, on the bot lane.
Here from Perseus.
Perseus getting pulled. Unfortunately, a nice timed ulti there, a nice timed damage coming out there. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, solid attacks are happening left and right. Vlad has got the flash away from that Orianna ball, taking some health with him. Perseus. Once again, Penguinator and Syndratic are working as a collective duo in this mid lane right now, forcing back both the jungler and the mid laner. And that gives them pressure of the Dragon Pit once again.
I gotta hand it to CUW here. Some very nice macro calls, things we typically see out of teams in higher elo. You know, they do lose out on the Drake, but they recognize they can still take an objective on the map. So they actually swap their bot lane, who is quite far ahead here, 26 CS, a differential onto Foul, which again, you do expect some differential because of this Caitlyn Karma lane, or maybe not that much, but they swap them up to top lane to create pressure for Penguinator to take that Rift Herald, knowing that Perseus is an Ornn and he can survive his hold on here. Ooh, nice dodge.
Ooh, both members are backing right now, and a quick ward from Foul spot them out. While Sonic PJ is able to back, the missed hook from Kunin is end up going to be his downfall, taking a ton of damage in the end.
But yeah, that pressure, as I was mentioning, does allow them to get the Rift Herald, and hold on, more action going on.
Happening again. The hook is going to miss, but here comes Afroboy anyways, doing solid damage to Heirloom. The ulti is just going to swap right past Heirloom. He's going to land right on top of Hell. He's going to pop the cleanse. Vlad is around the corner, but they're not able to get anything. And I gagged a little bit because I watched Kunin not miss just the hook, but miss it for what feels like the umpteenth time in this match.
Bot lane doing a nice job here on the side of CUW, dodging hooks and generally pressure as a whole. See Heirloom dodging that arrow very nicely with the flash, and normally you would get mad at your support for allowing something like that to hit your AD carry, but your AD carry has cleanse, appropriately so against a Nash, so able to just cleanse that one away and dodge out as Portals was roaming down there from mid lane, so good survival by CUW, and as kind of mentioned earlier, a couple minutes of pretty solid macro from them. So hold on.
Flash is going to land right on top, and Foul's going to get flayed away. But unfortunately, Heirloom is the one who takes the brunt of it, getting chunked down in the end. Penguinator is around the corner trying to help around. Kunin is quite low, and that ulti is just barely up for Penguinator. And unfortunately, Foul's ulti will not take down Kunin. They're going to have back up with one kill in their pockets here.
Right as I'm praising them, Heirloom just a little too aggressive with low health bar. Karma does give herself a nice shield, but not that large without any completed items at the moment. So she does get jumped on, and a nice play finally from Kunin with the, or I believe it's Keenan, sorry, with the flash flay there to bring her in, and they will net themselves another kill.
Solid there for the side of OC, as they are trying to catch up in a gold difference right now. But where that's stemming from is namely not from the objectives themselves, but just overall the solid farm difference happening here. Speaking of objectives, there's that Rift Herald from earlier, diving straight in the tower, not taking it, but doing a solid amount of damage. unfortunately past 14 minutes, so there's not going to be anything happening there. But meanwhile, that distraction was just enough for Penguinator to take that Infernal Drake, and it looks like we're going to get that Mountain Soul after all.
Yes, we will. We'll be the more prized as we have some action in mid lane. The hook misses, though.
Ooh, point blank hook, not going to be landing on top of Syndratic, who's able to speed boost past. Doing solid damage to Keenan right now. Chunking him out, popping the ulti, he's going to get an extra kill in the end. Yikes, honestly. What started as a good gank is going to turn tails real quick.
Yeah, Syndratic looking clean here as, hold on, it does have support from Heirloom.
And another challenger approaches. Here's Heirloom coming up to the mid lane. Afroboy is also going to be diving in, trying to get his piece of the pie. The smite might do it for Syndratic, but here comes the ulti from Penguinator, chunking out portals in the backline. Afroboy doesn't have enough, and he's going to have to jump away in the end. Once again, just solid plays coming out here from CUW.
Absolutely solid plays as a whole. Great jungle support roams going on here, and Syndratic playing it so cleanly. Dodging the hook out from Keenan there, absolutely running him down, knowing he has no form of escape and trusting her own health and damage, and knowing that Heirloom was on her way up to deal with portals, using that Hextech Proto Belt on the Vladimir, takes the first amount of damage, takes the damage from Afroboy, and the combined shields from Karma and Orianna allow Syndratic to stay alive there. They clean up portals, and they almost take down Afroboy as well. Really, really nicely done by all three members, really, of CUW, but Syndratic in particular there.
Yeah, definitely well played nonetheless. Members are backing off in the enemy jungle. Penguinator once again being pretty hungry, taking as much farm as he can away from the Zac. But looking at the numbers across the board right now, we do see how hungry Penguinator is right now. So far ahead in farm in the jungle right now. Looking at around, I'm pretty sure that's about 60 farm ahead. And meanwhile in the bot lane as well, 40 farm up from the bot lane. Top lane is slowly starting to even itself out, but OC is able to hold that one off by about a almost 25 farm difference. And meanwhile in the mid lane, Syndratic is holding that over the head of portals, who we've seen in the past pretty good at clearing and pretty good at fighting, and he's been dodging pretty well in this mid lane, but unfortunately Syndratic has always just been one step ahead.
Has been the case, and as we mentioned, definitely a tough lane for Vladimir against Orianna, been made harder by Syndratic's rune choices, which you have to say, despite good CS on the Vladimir here, at 119, he's still down about 10 on Syndratic. You have to say those have paid off. You know, he's forced him back a couple times. He's forced the flash out of the Vladimir with some help from his jungler a couple times, and Portal's been made to pay for it, sitting at 0-2-0. This Vlad still does have enough farm that he can scale into this game for sure, but has been set a decent amount behind by Syndratic and by some effort from Penguinator. So well done, particularly against the player. Hold on here as we got some action.
Meanwhile, for the fight for Rift begins as members are trying to go around. Heirloom is forced away and is going to die down to Doggy Doggo. Thornhorn's popping through, knocking up some people, but he's going to end up falling here. 2 portals, 2-4-0. The fight for Rift is actually backing off here. Members are feeling a bit too low as Sonic PJ gonna get targeted by the ulti. Quickly blocked by Doggy the Doggo there. Solid play and a solid bait coming out there from the side of OC Eagles.
Yeah, just a bit greedy from Perseus and Heirloom there, moving into the jungle there. Orianna is top lane, shoving into the tier 2 turret. Does have teleport, but they don't really have any wards in an aggressive position to defend them, and the rest of their team really isn't in position to back them up. And I'm not sure if they expected all 5 members of OCE to be there. But they were, and they used that opportunity to absolutely punish those 2 members and get this second Rift Herald. So a nice comeback play here from OCE is, they're going to find Penguinator alone in the jungle.
Speaking of greedy, Penguinator once again diving right in the back. He's going to pop his ulti, but they can see him right around the corner. Doesn't matter, that shutdown going straight to Afroboy. There goes your pressure for that Rift as the members are just going to barely try to hold it off here.
Yeah, Mercenary, I have no idea what was going on there. They did have some vision placed in the enemy jungle, but that should have alerted Penguinator that you really can't be there. Now, I guess he was here because they actually did not take that Rift Herald after winning that fight, but they will certainly take it now with Penguinator down for another 11 seconds. And they really closed the gold gap here in the last couple minutes after a couple nice plays. And I think you also have to say, definitely in that last one, a mistake by Penguinator being so far up the map alone, and now just about a 4K gold lead, which was, I think, sitting around 5 or even 5.5 just a couple minutes ago.
Well, now Penguin Air is back up and ready as this first Mountain Drake is up and going to go the way here of CUW. They have the pressure right now, but it looks like they're trying to wait around for baiting, as same as earlier. Heirloom is going to blow a little bit of surprise by popping up here. Afroboy is around the corner as well. Members are going to back off the pit, it seems like. They don't really want to hold too much pressure. They want them to enter to try to get around, maybe. But meanwhile, down below, a fight's going to start up between Doggy the Doggo and Perseus. Solid damage there, but meanwhile, the rift drop in the mid lane is going to take away a lot of that added pressure. But it doesn't matter. Penguin Air is just going to take it right from under the nose, and they're all going to back off. Wow.
I'll give a little credit to both sides here. You know, that second Rift Herald, which I think is the reason they took it in the first place. OC Eagle's doing a nice job just dropping that one mid and basically saying, you know, CUW, you have position on the dragon, but if you want that, you will lose your mid lane turret and potentially another charge to this Rift Herald. They drop it and move in to defend. Oh, hold on here.
Oh, 3 people jumping right on top of Sonic PJ. They really don't want him to be alone, and they're going to teach him why.
Yeah, that's a classic AD carry move there. Thinking you can access that farm and forgetting there's a Nocturne in the game. That one's a little too easy. Ornn can ult there, but not a lot of champions out there similar to Nocturne who can really close that gap so quickly. So Sonic PJ will be taken down. But yeah, as mentioned, do get that Rift Herald taking down tier 1 mid for the Dragon. So decent trade on either side for objectives there. But I do think this is important for CUW. I think they need to stack Dragons Mercenary. I think they want to look for 4. Again, I think they have a good team fighting comp. But I do think if this game goes on for too long, it will get a little bit harder and harder for them in team fights, and they'll have to find bigger outplays from their team fighting champions, you know, notably Foul and Syndrotic, to stay alive against the Vladimir and the Zac in particular. So good for them to keep stacking these dragons and look for that Drake Soul win condition that so many teams rely on these days.
Definitely, indeed. Across the board right now, members are popping some vision around the area here as Baron is up in about 3 minutes till Mountain Drake. Baron's going to be the only one people are going to be fighting contention for, as people are starting to slowly but surely rotate across the map. If anyone heard me chuckling under my breath, it was at the fact that DJ said that it's a classic move. Yes, the one for the history books where you're an AD carry just farming and then Nocturne appears. Last I checked, that's not pretty common, DJ.
Oh, it's more common than you would expect as an AD carry main myself. We all make those mistakes from time to time when we forget who's in the game. I would say AD carries typically, you know, they really want to access that farm. They see the wave. They see Ornn a decent way away. They think they can access it. And sometimes it just slips your mind that some of these champions have such a long engage range, you know, Nocturne and Ornn in particular. Even Afroboy would be a similar one. You know, Zac always a champion that can come from strange angles that you wouldn't necessarily see in, you know, 8 out of 10 of your games, where a lot of champions will have to come from more predictable angles. So is sometimes a sin of AD carries to think they can access waves against certain champions that they just cannot without, you know, a support or some sort of defensive champion around them.
I've just doubted myself out as a support main here, for I do not play ADC, and I will never play ADC. I'm here to support and help. As we are seeing right now, people are starting to go up towards the top lane, though, and some extra support of a 3-man right on top of Doggy the Doggo. And they were diving in first. Perseus is falling around the corner, and they're going to get the charge, but the Death Realm is going to be able to pull them away, as Heirloom does not want to fight that. Meanwhile, it's a start for a fight going on here. TP landing as well. Portal's diving straight into the back line, doing a lot of damage. The ulti is just barely going to land on top of Ornn. Penguin Air is able to take down Portals, who dove a little too deep. Remember's getting pulled into the ulti right now. Penguin Air is on the run, taking solid damage left and right. Here comes the Ornn Horn, though, knocking them up. CUW is taking a lot of damage, but that ulti from Syndrotic is going to possibly do it here. Doggy Dog is going to take down by Falro Cook, who's just being allowed to free farm highest health member right now. Ulti's going to land right on top of Sonic PJ. Members are going to back up there. What started off really good for CUW is going to end off really good for CUW. They got Doggy and they got Portals.
Good on Sonic PJ that he has that Blade of the Ruined King. That was a chaotic fight, Mercenary. Portals going so deep on that teleport. Ends up ulting, I believe, onto Heirloom. Not sure if he connected with Foul on that ultimate, but does pick up, I do believe they pick up one. Maybe, maybe not, but man, he goes in so deep there, loses his life, and in the ensuing fight, it looks pretty good for the side of OC Eagles until that Orianna shockwave lands. And so strong here with 160 CS, a kill and 3 assists on this Orianna, now on 2 items. And that one almost turns the fight as so many blinking health bars are really outside of, I think, Sonic PJ on the side of OC Eagles at the end of that fight. But I believe only 1 or 2 members are going down in total. So despite all the chaos, not a huge swing in either direction as this 4th Drake will be spawning.
Yeah, TP coming in from the top lane as Persis is here for the fight. You did see Heirloom trying to hold back the sweeping of Vision from earlier, but was not able to as multiple members are coming down. CUW is going to be chasing out their opponents right to the other side of the river, and it's currently a split match. Nobody wants to make the first move just yet, but you do have the ulti Penguinator on, well, off cooldown right now. It's ready to be used. They're all waiting around the corner. Somebody wants to make the first move. You do have Perseus's ult as well. They have engaged tools, but Afroboy is going for it as well. He's going to get burned. God, the amount of tension happening right now is absolutely insane as Dragon's going to get started up here by CUW. They're trying to force the other to come in. The ulti's going to get popped by Doggy the Doggo, who is going to get pushed away from himself. Here comes the Nocturne ulti into the backline, doing some solid damage. Penguinator is going to get caught off guard. Got to pop the stopwatch. Here comes Ornn diving in. Syndratic picking up 2 kills, 3 kills right now, and they're going to get the Drake in the end. Afroboy is left all alone. And there is the passive proc. Who's going to get it? Are they going to give? No, they're not going to give Syndratic the quadra kill, unfortunately. But they got the Drake. They got 4 extra kills, and that gives them the pressure to go straight to Baron.
Oh, and Mercenary, we've been praising Syndratic all game. We've been praising Penguinator for this mid-jungle duo in total. Penguinator has made a couple of mistakes, but I will say, Mercenary, he played that fight to perfection, moving around the backside of the pit as Syndratic was ulted by the Mordekaiser, uses his ultimate to get on top of a carry from the side of OC Eagles and stopwatches at the perfect time, absorbs an ultimate from Vladimir, absorbs an ultimate, I believe, from Thresh as well, stopwatches and allows his team, in particular Perseus, to absorb all the damage, puts some CC down, and allows Syndratic to clean up the kills despite his ultimate already being down. Super well played from the side of CUW as a whole, and standout performances there by Penguinator and Syndratic.
A very fun fight there, and it's going to get them both the Drake and put them straight on Drake's soul, and they're going to get that Baron to add some extra pressure. Now let's see what they could do for it. All members are resetting right now. Caitlyn's going to be backing off. Go ahead and pick up the rapid fire cannon. Very useful for her in the end. Members are slowly starting to rotate. It looks like they're pushing all their efforts towards their mid lane. Here, they want to get that extra pressure for all incoming fights nonetheless. Looks like everyone's just trying to stack up and see what happens here, but a very exciting match nonetheless. But I want to see if OC Eagles have this comeback in the bag possibly. But to make that happen, what does OC Eagles have to do here, DJ? What do they have to do to try to make this comeback happen?
OC Eagles needs to try to find a pick and not lose too much of their base. This is a great Baron opportunity to break in and get an inhibitor. I think if CUW can break in and get an inhibitor, they can use that pressure to fall back and pick up the Ocean Soul. Again, I think this game gets a little bit better for OC as it goes on. You see Portal's now on 2 items, working on a 3rd, already has his boots as well. Once Vlad hits 3 items, you can potentially see a big ultimate and a team fight win. I think the real issue, if you're looking at it now, is you look at the 80 carry difference, and Foul actually pretty close to flame horizoning Sonic PJ here, which is not what you want to see. This 2-0-3 Caitlyn on 3 items, having that rapid fire cannon to keep her further away from the Vladimir. And you know, Freak would argue you should be going for Essence Reaver 3rd, but have seen both builds, and I do like rapid fire cannon in this situation because you do have 2 dive champions in the Zac and the Vladimir that want to get on top of you, and that will keep you further away from you. Keep them further away from you. And with 3 items, and with 3 items, almost 3 items on Soriana, it is really hard to fight them right now. So if you are OC Eagles, you are trying to hold on, trying not to lose too much, so that in particular Portals, but really most of the members on your team can get another item spike, because we have an engage coming in here from Doggy the Doggo.
Doggy the Doggo to pop the ulti right on top of Heirloom, pulling them away. Heirloom is just barely surviving, though, able to get away. Doggy's being forced off. Afro Boy's diving in, trying to get something, and is going straight after Heirloom. Sonic P just going to pick that one with the ulti from around the corner. Here comes some more damage. Fowl's going to get shut down by Portals, able to get through the back line. A hook's going to pop right through and is going to take out, it's going to take out Syndrata. Meanwhile, Penguinator is going to take off the Ashe in the back line, as it does look like members are diving in the background. Portals able to pick, Penguinator able to pick up the second kill.
And Mercenary, this is exactly what we were just talking about, and it actually is even better than I think OCE could have hoped for. We said they needed a pick. Doggy the Doggo sees the support. Heirloom kind of separated from the rest of the team, says, well, I'm gonna ult you. You can't fight me in the Death Realm. And that is absolutely true. Forced her into a corner, forces the heal out of her. And while she does go low and not taken down by Doggy the Doggo in the ensuing fight, CUW just not in a good enough position to fend off the dive that we were just talking about. Afro Boy and Portals get access to that backline. They take down Heirloom, and they take down Foul too early in the fight for Foul to really set up. And despite Syndrata getting another 3-person ultimate, it's not enough with so many high health bars and the other carry on the side of CUW already down. But we do see these teams now setting up some vision around this Drake spawning. It is sole point for CUW. They do have all of their ultimates except for Ornn right now, and they do have access to the pit.
Yeah, it looks like the fight's going to ensue here. A little bit of fight from Heirloom coming out earlier, trying to force the vision away, but the dragon is slowly teetering over here. CUW is playing a little bit cautious right now. They knew what happened last time. They don't want a repeat of that. Meanwhile, members are trying to pop around. You do have Portals around in the backside right now, looking for something to come in. Here comes Afro Boy, though, and it's going to force him straight into Portals. The Ornn Horn is going to get used up, and it's not going to get hit in the end. One of these landing on top. Penguinator is going to take out Sonic PJ in the backline. That's taking a lot of damage there. Syndrata is also going to take out Portals, though, and another kill is going over Doggy the Doggo. Portals is going to pick up a second kill as well on top of Doggy. The Zac is going to get shoot out there in the end. What seemed like a great start from most Eagles is quickly going to get turned around, as Keenan is going to have to run back to his base.
Yeah, and it all falls apart here for OC Eagles Mercenary. They had some hope after that last one team fight, and I have to say it looked fantastic. Is that just a... Why is Vlad's corpse standing up in mid lane? Is everyone else seeing that?
That is a bug.
That is a bug. That is a funny bug, because it looks like he is playing a Fiddlesticks cosplay standing in the middle of mid lane for some reason, but he's still dead for 13 seconds. We'll see if that one disappears. I'm actually intrigued to see if that disappears when he respawns. But as we were saying, a huge one fight there, as despite the great flank from Portals, not enough damage yet to take down. Oh, and it did disappear, Mercenary. Not enough damage to take down the carries, and they sustain through the engage. Meanwhile, Penguinator is absolutely decimating the backline, taking out the Ashe and the Zac, and that results in a Dragon Soul here for CUW, now sitting on a 7k gold lead with that Dragon Soul. They'll probably be looking for this second Baron and use that buff to try to end this game.
Definitely exciting there. Nonetheless, this pressure has been held by CUW since the start of the match, just from solid farm alone. Getting across the board right now, we do have 2 bounties on 2 different heads, Syndratic and on top of Penguinator. This duo that we've seen going through this entire match. Looking at it right now, honestly, Syndratic only has 1 death, 6 kills, 7 assists. Foul is also rocking only the 1 death club, rocking the 1 death, 3 kills, and 5 assists. Overall, it's a very solid and scary team from CUW here, but OC Eagles might have a chance to try to bring this one back. They just need to try to get this Baron, or try to get this out there. They need a solid buff and to try to hold this game out as long as they can to try to take back game 1 for themselves.
You see now, as mentioned, this Baron going to be super important for CUW to close this game out. So Vision already coming in, as we have an ult coming in.
Nocturne popping his ulti again. Sonic PJ trying to use the ulti to stay alive, but the spell shield to beat up just in time. Afro Boy is being forced away, and that immediately gives them pressure over this Baron pit, which it's now up We've seen Penguinator diving straight after Sonic PJ Matt time and time again, doing a solid job of trying to keep that ADC out of these fights.
Yeah, it feels so bad to be Sonic PJ. Just got a laser lock from Penguinator on him, but will say for in future reference for any AD carries, as a nice smite there comes in for Penguinator to take down the second Baron. Use the W first. W that spell shield on the Nocturne. If you use that ultimate first, you will die.
There is no survivability from Nocturne. He knows where you live and he will come for you. But that was a solid attempt there from Afro Boy, just barely not timing the smite right. And Penguinator's going to take it. One more Baron proc, and this might be the final shove here, as we do have Afro Boy backing up. Actually getting caught off guard here by Penguinator, who's going to slowly start chasing after him. Not able to keep him locked down, as the pressure will continue here onto this mid lane tower.
I didn't even notice this, but Penguinator has 314 CS. The highest CS in the game.
Oh my god.
That's insane.
That is absolutely insane. You could see that greed from earlier, while it led to 2 of his deaths, honestly, it looks like it's coming out on top for him. He's the highest CS in the game, being shortly followed by Foul here, but wow, I didn't notice that at first at all.
That is insane for a jungler. He must have taken like 5% of the camps in this whole entire game. Is looking to land here.
Ooh, the attack starts as Afro Boy dives in, but slowly going to get chewed out. The Ornhorn will land as Nocturne comes around from the backside. They're going to slowly take down Keenan. Penguinator is also once again going to take down Sonic PJ. The ulti will be enough to keep Portals out of the fight, as Doggy the Doggo slowly getting chewed out in the death realm right now against Heirloom. He's trying his best to stay alive. That timer is running out right about now. There he goes. There goes the last member of OC Eagles, and looks like this first match is going straight over to CUW.
Yes, it will, Mercenary. Too much money, too many items, too much power for CUW in this game, and they will push for that Game 1 win over the OC Eagles.
And welcome back, everyone. So sorry for that long break here, as we did have some technical difficulties, problems here and there, but we're back. We're back and ready for Game 2. Thank you to both teams, if they are listening, of course, for just for waiting for us. Honestly, it was great. But anyways, as we're about to dive straight back in the game here, my name is Mercenary once again, in case you guys forgot after the long break. And joining me is DJ. As we already did pro draft, we're just going to dive straight into regular draft here.
Yes, we are. So we know what is coming, but we will pretend like we don't. And we'll walk you through this draft coming up here. As we can see, early ban of the Kassadin coming in once again, and nobody wanting to play for that level 16 win condition. And the Zoe taken away on the other side.
Definitely exciting there. There's the Nocturne from last time that we saw. Don't want to see that one coming back into the match. It was a terror on the field for Penguinator. And so it looks like OC is going to be taking that one out. By the way, the titles might be a little bit wrong here, but we do have OC over on the blue side, and over on the red side, we have CUW, who did win last match. The Swain's going to be banned out here. A Terror in the mid lane still currently, but he will probably be nerfed coming up next patch. And there goes that Karma, actually, from last match, as Heirloom did bully heavily during that match. And the final ban for CUW is going to be that Mordekaiser top lane.
And we see that Mordekaiser taken away. And 2 champions from that game win for CUW in Game 1 taken away, the Nocturne and the Karma. So OC Eagles not wanting to see that one again. As we see some picks coming in here, we've got a Shen and a Vi on the side of CUW, with an Ornn and a Trundle side of OC.
Very exciting there. Portals looks like it's coming out with the Nico here. Very interesting to see the Shen.
Oh boy.
Vi And oh boy, we have the Yone, recent released champion right now. Has been a terror on the Rift, but honestly, I don't think he's been that broken, just from my own opinion. But we go to see the one dead brother, the Unforgotten, popping up in the Rift here as we have our next ban going straight to Volibear, and as well as that Thresh support.
Support taken away. You'll see what the final ban is here on the side of CUW, but probably going to be, and there's a Syndra, as I mentioned, I was about to say, probably something that would potentially outrange the Yone and make laning difficult, similar to a Yasuo. Definitely not the same champion, but they do struggle with the same sort of thing in the early game is as melee champions zoned off of waves by characters with a decent amount of range in the early game.
Yep, there goes that Orianna that we saw Syndrata go crazy on last time. As we do have the first pick, Foul is going to be picking up that Caitlyn, same as last time. And it looks like the Ashe is coming out as well to try and counter it before. Sonic PJ won't have Penguinator diving straight as quickly after them in the back line, but with the Vi, it is definitely a possibility. And without that Thresh in the bag, it looks like they're going to take out that Lulu. And to counter that one, they're going to pull out that Xerath. While looking at these two teams and remembering the first round match in which CUW did tear it up later in the game, who do you think has the upper hand here, DJ?
Ooh, this is an interesting one indeed. I'm just gonna give it over slightly to the side of OC Eagles here. I think CUW really trying to throw down a gauntlet here with a very interesting draft. This bot lane definitely going to be oppressive. Ashe Lulu, a strong bot lane in its own right, but the range on this Caitlyn Xerath is so much to handle. But if you can get out of this lane with a decent amount of CS and Nico, our portals on the Nico can, have some sort of early game advantage. I think with this Trundle Ornn frontline, it's a little difficult to team fight as well. And the picks should be pretty on point here from OC Eagles. So we'll give it over to them, but I do think it is close depending on how this bot lane goes.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. We may be looking at a game 3, but as we're hitting spectators delay, will OC Eagles bring us around to hear those silver scrapes, or CUW close this one out in a quick 2-0? After spectators delay, we'll see you guys down on the Rift. And welcome back, GG Leagues fans, to this second match of a best of 3 for the finals. Over on the blue side, we have the OC Eagles, and over on the red, we have CUW. Last match, we saw CUW absolutely tear it up in the late game, moving around and acting as if they were a pro league team on LCS. Now let's see if OC Eagles can bring this one back for game 3. My name is Mercenary, joining me is DJ as always, and this is a very interesting comp coming out from CUW.
Yes, it is. It is hyper aggressive, particularly in the bot lane, and Syndratic looking to flex here on the new champion. Not sure how many games they've gotten in on that champion, but can be strong, of course. Have heard from a lot of players that it does feel a little stiff at times, but just like his brother and other assassin-y, skirmishy types of champions can get very strong. I experienced that in a game just before casting here, where the enemy was a bot lane Yone and had 26 kills, and despite being a 13 kill victor, it made no difference.
Well, that sounds pretty spooky to me, as we're just starting with a 5-point start. Nobody really wants to try any engages yet. There is a little bit of contesting here on the bot lane area, as we do see the bot lane from CUW being a little bit aggressive in the jungle, but not taking or dealing any damage in the end.
Yeah, they're just looking for a good start here, and one thing I'm actually noticing in chat as well, Mercenary, that I do agree with is, leaving Caitlyn open for foul again. I think I mentioned it at the end of game number 1, but while Penguinator was a big reason, of course, and Syndratic as well, why that game 1 was won. Hold on here as we have a poke.
Yeah, a little bit of poke coming out on top of Sonic PJ, putting him back a little bit, as it looks like Foul and Heirloom just decided to wait instead of trying to push that pressure earlier.
But yeah, as I was mentioning, Foul was 120 CS up on Sonic PJ after game 1. And, Caitlyn is just a champion that can get to waves, gets access to waves so easily because of her range, and can be so safe and oppressive at sort of the same time if you can't get on top of her. I really wanted to see them try to take Foul onto something else and try to set up, some sort of discomfort. They did take a couple things away, the Nocturne and the Karma, but they will leave that Caitlyn open. And with how strong this champion is and how well Foul farmed on it in particular in that game, I would have wanted to see it banned. And now it's paired up here with another oppressive long-range champion in this bot lane.
Not a fun time bot lane over the side of OC. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, we do have Trendle coming in, possibly for a gank. Does not land the cone, but the E's getting pulled away. Syndratic doesn't know it might pull him back. They're waiting around for him. Here he comes back. Has to flash to pull away. That's what you get for playing a new champion, I guess.
Is a bit awkward sometimes when you are still trying to potentially learn matchups. But Nico, definitely a strong early game champion. That root on the E is something to be feared in the early game for sure. Q with 3 procs can do a ton of damage, so maybe not the worst idea to flash, but definitely probably not the ideal one.
Yeah, definitely not in the end. Looking towards this bot lane though, Sonic PJ taking a ton of damage, getting the stun. Q and some more damage from Heirloom as they're going to burn out the rest of that mana bar. But meanwhile, we do have a bit of a skirmish for the Scuttle in the bottom jungle. As we do take a peek at top, nothing really happens down there, of course. And up in this top lane, it's going pretty well, despite the fact that Shin is at a bit of a disadvantage against Doggy here.
Everyone's seeming fine in the top lane there, although, of course, he's just losing out on some farm. You would like to see him maybe pressure the Ornn a little bit, but can be a little hard with how good that champion is. You see Sonic PJ here already very low, going to be forced to go back. And, as we kind of talked, oh, hold on here, Syndratic going in with E.
Syndratic landing the triple combo right on top, dealing some damage, but taking a lot of damage in return from portals.
Yeah, kind of as we were mentioning, Foul already PCS up on this Ashe, who's also taking a cull to try to manage this lane. A little bit of an interesting choice if you do watch, in particular, a good amount of high-level AD carries, but in particular, if you guys do watch Sneaky's stream, you can learn a lot about cull and that cut down plus cull when you have lower health than both enemies in the opposing bot lane. Actually, a better item for sustain than Doran's Blade, just doesn't have the health on it. So it is interesting to see that one taken here on the Ashe when Caitlyn has the lowest base HP of any AD carry out in the game right now. So, hold on, Syndratic going back in again. Jungler's here.
Unfortunately, Syndratic is able to use his E to his advantage this time, pulling himself back just before Afroboy pops in. As we were actually talking about that Ashe, another thing to realize, she did take TP and used to get back in the lane. As we look top lane, Doggy doing a solid chunk of magic damage on top of Perseus, but overall everything's staying fine in the other lanes. But yikes, Keenan just barely getting out of that silence there is going to take a ton of damage from his opposing laners. As they go back to the mid lane, Portal's taking a lot more damage from Syndratic. We're probably going to see a lot of these burst skirmishes happening across the map here.
A lot of skirmishing going on, and most of it going in the favor of CUW in this early game. You see already 1k gold ahead, and stun landing in the bot lane onto Keenan.
Keenan taking solid damage. Sonic PJ trying to do something, but here comes Afroboy. The flash comes out, and so does the TP. Vi is around the corner as well. Jones diving straight into the matchup, missing the ulti. Unfortunately, it's going to take a ton of damage. Shen ulti's going to go to try to keep him alive, but here comes Lulu doing enough damage to take that first blood. Solid start here from OC Eagles, while CUW definitely has something going on. Now they're being pressured right in the back, as we do have Vi waiting around the corner here. He's going to knock away Foul. Vi might try to do something, is still hovering there as we take a peek top lane. We do have Perseus landing on top of Doggy, who's going to take a few tower shots too many. He's got to be forced off. Meanwhile, Penguinator's on the run as the fight did not work out. They're trying to corner Penguinator, who does have the burst. The root's not going to land, but he was able to get away in the end. A long fight there, but first blood's going over to OC Eagles.
Extended route there with no minions for the Nico. But yeah, I think Mercenary, you see there, really the best example of just a little potentially discomfort on a newer champion. Syndratic getting what looks to be a pretty decent teleport in. You know, Foul has a nice flash away from Afroboy on the jungle, on the trundle there. They get into a good position. And Soul and Afroboy looking for something, although I don't think he can get anything done here.
Yep. Speaking of Trundle, gets the knock up on Foul, but is not able to get anything else as he does get stunned. Sonic PJ is looking quite low with a lot of missing mana. Gonna force them back, even though Afroboy is waiting around the corner. He's losing on a lot of farm as well. He's gonna back off as Vi is now up nearly 30 farm on him.
But yeah, just to finish the point there, you know, Syndratic teleporting in, a pretty good teleport overall with that jungler committed, but just kind of whiffs on a couple of abilities under the turret onto Keenan, and that results in him dying basically to the turret, but with a couple autos from Keenan. As Vi's going to go in here, but Portal's a little too strong for her. But yeah, just a little bit of discomfort and may shake out some of the rust here as the game goes on, and just an ununderstandable mistake potentially on a champion that you maybe haven't played as many games on as some of the other mid laners who have been out for so many years.
Yes, though Syndratic is keeping up pretty strong in farm against Portals here. Do a solid amount of damage. Meanwhile, here in the jungle, Penguinator is being sawn out by Doggy, who's not going to get the charge off as Penguinator is able to Q out of there, though a lot of pings are going around as members are set up. Meanwhile, Afroboy is taking this blue buff, but here is Heirloom going to poke him down too low and too close for comfort there. One kill goes over to CUW.
And it's actually really bad for Afroboy there, because as he's trying to take that blue, he's getting counter jungled. His top side jungle being taken away by Penguinator, and Heirloom finds him there, absolutely ruins him, and takes the blue buff, which is just gonna make life even worse for this bot lane, as he can just spam spells even more on this support Xerath here. So already down 40 CS Mercenary, and with that blue buff on Xerath, it's not gonna get any easier.
Yeah, definitely a rough time in the jungle there, but hopefully they'll be able to bring it back.
Just double buffs, Mercenary. He doesn't just have one.
No. Yeah, speaking of double buffs, there's the ulti coming out here from Ashe. Sonic PJ too low for this solid damage comp. Final ulti shot just barely missing there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Syndratic taking some solid damage and trying to do some more back to Portals. Goes about even there. Meanwhile, here comes Afroboy, getting stunned and taking that a ton of damage from Heirloom. Those double buffs are really doing him pretty well down there in the bot lane.
I actually, that should be blocked. I actually can't believe really thought that that bot lane was dead. I'm very surprised they did survive with the Caitlyn ultimate up. They do manage to stay alive, but just barely. And the pressure just continues to mount. Now, 50 CS behind on this Ashe. The second time we've seen this matchup, and the second time that Foul is just absolutely putting out the pressure. Again, a lot of it to do with the support pick, of course. Karma, an oppressive support. Xerath, an absolutely oppressive support in the early game. You know, people talk about, oh, just dodge the skill shots. They're not that easy to dodge, everybody, especially when you don't have boots in the early game. So two oppressive supports helping Foul's laning, but Foul really showing the better side of this Caitlyn Ashe matchup. And as we mentioned in the early game, a little surprised that it was not banned away after the performance in game 1.
Yeah, and looks like OC's taking the toll from that one as they do get first tower here in about 10 minutes. That means all stacks going right over to Foul and Heirloom. A ton of extra gold right on top of them and up nearly 40 farm. And now they're just going to straight rotate to that first mountain drake. And without much contesting here, is going to get taken away. But meanwhile, Afroboy is up in the top side, going to take that rift away as Portals is going to get side ganked here from Heirloom. Ooh. Damage coming around, but the rotates are going right through. The ulti is procced, but no one's going to get ultied in the end. And Syndrotic's E is going to run out. They're going to back off that rift, and what was possibly a win there is going to turn around quickly. Penguinator doing some damage on Doggy, but Doggy is not too scared. Here comes the Ornn ulti. The stun is landing right on top, but unfortunately the Ornn ulti is not going to be able to catch around. Syndrotic is caught off guard, not able to get away. Got one ulti, but lost it in the end. But meanwhile, over on the side, Heirloom was able to kill Sonic PJ. It's now a 1-for-1 in kills. But it looks like the win is going to go straight over to CUW as they were able to get that Drake and stop the take of Rift Herald.
Yeah, just a little bit of invade and pressure there. They do end up losing Syndrotic in the process. Won't be too big of a loss. Not a ton of objectives up just to Rift Herald, although nice job by Afroboy here forcing the flash on Foul with no support around him.
Yeah, some solid damage coming out here. Looking at the gold right now, it's over 4K at 12 minutes here, going to the side of CUW. We're just doing some solid work nonetheless. Meanwhile, this top lane has swapped down here into the bot lane and so forth, giving some extra gold over to Perseus, who was already ahead in farm, while keeping that bot lane fed in the top lane. Meanwhile, it does look like Afroboy is starting to do something over by the Rift Herald. Might be trying to take it, but does have a rotate from Heirloom, doing a ton of damage. This is support, everyone, a 2-0 support. Doggy's around the corner, being able to knock up. The flash from Afroboy is going to keep him alive a bit longer, but Doggy is going to get stunned in the process. Two members are going to take him down, and that is going to be another kill, going straight over the Foul. And the flash was just a little bit something extra. Meanwhile, the fight continues. The ulti is going to land right on top of Portals from Penguinator, who's going to pop his own ulti. Portals able to do some solid damage, but is currently stuck with Keenan over on one side. The TP is coming from Perseus from the bot lane to try to keep this fight up. And it looks like the win is going to go straight over to CUW.
Yeah, and they do a nice job peeling off the second engage there, do the OC Eagles. But man, oh man, Mercenary, I would be so tilted to be in this game that have a 2-0 Xerath already with a Luden's Echo way before any of the 80 carries even have their first item. Just absolutely smurfing on everyone. You mentioned the damage done to Afroboy. You see him just absolutely kiting the absolute like living crud out of Doggy the Doggo there, setting up Caitlyn traps. Just Doggy can't even move, and it's just painful to watch, honestly.
Yeah, it's a real shame and a real tough time happening there, as another tower is going to fall straight over to CUW here. There are two towers up at 14 minutes. They were able to get all the tower plating off the bottom one, a good chunk of the tower plating off the top, and the gold difference is stacking up drastically right now. We are still at just around, actually we're looking around 8. Still go for this Rift Herald, but members are still around And here comes that heavy damage dealer of Heirloom, taking a good chunk out of Afro Boy there. Once again, forcing them off as members are starting to converge on the position.
Yep, CUW not happy to give up this Rift Herald, so they will continue to pressure it. And, you know, as we mentioned a couple times about the support, he can really pressure things on his own at this point. With that Luden's Echo and a semi-upgraded support item, Heirloom can actually put out a ton of damage. Obviously still weak to hard engage, but if he doesn't get engaged on, he's one of the strongest characters in the game right now. You can see single items completed on a lot of members of CUW, but on the side of OC, still a couple of members without completed items, or certainly weaker completer items than a Luden's Echo. So, you know, this support can kind of hold himself up to anyone in the game as Perseus trying to get away here.
Ooh, Perseus with a quick flash and dash away from that Ash Arrow is able to pull a lot of the members towards the area, but meanwhile, Penguinator's waiting around the corner. Same with a bunch of the other members of the team. They're trying to bait some sort of fight, for they know they can win it, and here comes Doggy right into their trap. He's going to send him back. So is the ulti, doing some solid damage. Top of Doggy's caught off guard. Portals and Keenan's around the corner, but here comes the rest of the team. Unfortunately, Penguinator is actually going to go in the back lane, take out Sonic PJ, but Portal's able to take down Perseus. A double kill going straight over to Penguinator right now. It's a 2 for 2. Penguinator is trying to dive right on top of Afro Boy, solely alone and surrounded by other members, but here comes Heirloom trying to do some sort of damage. Fowls are doing some solid damage of their own. Everyone's going to back out. It's a 2 for 2 trade in this matchup.
Yeah, just a big split fight there, Mercenary, so it's hard for anyone to really survive. Syndratic with no real cover for himself. Shen has the Sunfire cape, not super tanky yet, and only has a taunt for one person in that fight. So Syndratic does go down to that AoE from Portals on the Nico, but in the meantime, with those two champions engaged with Shen and Yone, you see Penguinator just hopping onto the back line and picking himself up a double kill. So once again, sort of really focused on those carries and doing a nice job disrupting fights is Penguinator, despite losing two members from his side as well.
And you heard that musical cue. The next trade goes straight over to CUW again, and that soul is something that OC does not want to see going over to their enemy. It's going to be the Ocean Soul matchup here. Very terrifying, as now there's about 230 going over to that Baron buff as Penguinators take that red buff under the guise of darkness as the pressure continues in the mid lane and in that bot. Ooh. Solid damage from Syndratic, but nothing coming of it. Meanwhile, Doggy taking a ton of damage from this bot lane, including the ulti, which actually doesn't do too much right now. Compared to the other damage we've seen, it just kind of seems like a little bit of a love tap, don't it?
I'm sorry, I couldn't help but laugh at that one, Mercenary. It's a very normal, you know, as a AD carry, as a Caitlyn player, when you land your full combo, you know, trap auto, headshot auto, you know, Q, you really want to ultimate because you see that quarter health bar and you think, oh, yeah, I'm either going to kill him or chunk him out and they have to leave. But kind of doing an ultimate onto a tanky armor stacking Ornn, maybe not going to do as much as you expected.
Yeah, it was a try though, and I definitely went around. With that mid tower gone though, all three outer turrets are going to be going down. Three more are waiting and wait as Syndratic's already going to make work on that bot one. Taking some tower shots, though, is going to try to get away with something. He's going to take it. But meanwhile, on the back line, here comes Penguinator trying to do something by diving in there again, doing some solid damage. Is going to get an ulti for their trouble. Perseus is coming away and trying to do something as they're forcing all the members back. Meanwhile, Afroboy trying to run around. Going to get stopped by minions. They're going to try to keep it up. But now the pressure's back onto that mid tower as Syndratic is now going to be facing down a Trundle in the bot lane.
And this man, Penguinator, has balls of steel, Mercenary. He is limit testing in the finals right now, going under the tier 2 turret to try to take them down against a Lulu, who can easily just hard CC you into Ornn CC. He does get double CC, but his teammates bailing him out there with the heal and the Shen. This man fears nothing.
Absolutely fearless. We've seen him dive in the back line before, but nothing quite like this under two towers and against three members. Penguinator is not scared of this team whatsoever. But another mid tower is gone. It's 4-0 at nearly 20 minutes here. Two Drakes almost looking like almost 10k up right now. Solid money going straight over to CUW and something you really don't want to see for OC. But with all this damage coming out here, Baron about up here in about 5 seconds as we speak. What do you think OC is going to be able to do to try to win against this absolutely terrifying team?
Mercenary, the unfortunate answer is, I'll hold on here as we have some action. Ornalt coming out.
Ooh, Ornhorn's going to take a flash from one, but it's going to miss the other. They're forcing them off that bot lane tower, but it took an entire team to scare them. But, as you were saying before.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mercenary, I think this one's a little rougher for the side of OC. You know, last game you could look at some pretty clear late-game win conditions. You had that Vladimir. You know, the later the game goes, the more likely it is that Vlad goes in, gets an ult on the 2 carries, and just absolutely blows them up with the EQR combo. But you have a Nico this time. Nico, a champion that wants to thrive in the early game and can do some damage, but just not going to have the access or the true burst damage that a Vladimir does. You're sitting on your other carry here is an Ashe. The Ashe is almost 100 CS behind the Caitlyn. She's going to get Flame Horizoned again this game, and sitting on 1 item, hasn't completed the cull yet to Caitlyn's almost 2 now. It's just going to be so hard for Sonic PG. You can see doing no damage here to Perseus and almost going down.
So MPG bursting the flash and getting some extra shields is not going to catch Perseus. Instead, Foul's going to take that arrow and is able to cleanse it. Ooh, a little bit of backward shot there, trying to do some sort of damage. It's currently a chasing fight. It looks like CUW really wants to test their limits here, as members are going to back off now.
Yeah, pretty sure Foul just misclicked that one, shooting her E, knocking herself back into the team, forcing the flash out from the Caitlyn. But yeah, as we were mentioning, I think, unfortunately, like the last game, this one actually just gets harder for OCE as time goes on. This Caitlyn only going to get stronger. It's already so far ahead. You'll continue to be poked down by the Xerath. And, you know, if you do try to get into a team fight, you still have a Shen to peel and a Vi to engage. And Penguinator, once again, just crazy on this farm, sitting tied with Caitlyn with 182 CS. Like, even off of you know, the Nocturne, who is a farming jungler. He's on a Vi and he's absolutely smurfing farm as, oh my goodness, Keenan just destroyed.
Yeah, Penguinator back at it again, going into the back lane. Had a little bit of help from Heirloom too, getting a nice easy kill on top of Keenan. As they currently have the pressure over the pit, they're not even going to abuse it yet. They just really want to test their damage and test their limits. They're still trying to force down this bot lane tower. Ooh, members are waiting around though. Doggy trying to do something. I'm always nervous there's going to be a fight starting. Might be something there. The root and Q lane top of Perseus, but he has enough armor and backup to be able to get away. But it just, if you're looking at the minimap right now, they're just absolutely being surrounded by the team here. They do see Penguinator backing off, trying to force some pressure away from there, going straight to mid, and it looks like it's working as members are starting to rotate up to Penguinator right now.
Yeah, it's just hard, Mercenary. They're so far down right now. They're trying to find any place to farm, anywhere to be in this game. But again, you can see the item disparity, the gold disparity. I mean, Shen even in the top lane, but this Vi is 3k gold ahead of the Trundle. I mean, 3k, Mercenary. We're at 23 minutes. This Vi is literally a full item ahead of this Trundle. It is so hard for him to be anywhere. The mid lane is essentially even, just about a 700 gold deficit. And the bot lane is 4k ahead. That's 7k gold differential on 2 of the main champions here. One of the carries for CUW just makes it so hard for OCE to get in on these fights. They have to have a perfect engage here. They're going to try to get Foul right now.
Ooh, speaking of perfect engage, 2 ultis used on top of Foul. It looks like OC was a little bit eager to get some blood on their weapons here, as it looks like Foul's going to fall victim to some solid damage there.
Yeah, and we'll have to say Foul falling for the same thing that Sonic PJ did in Game 1 with that Nocturne. That's a bit of a punishment there for Foul, messing up his E, the Caliber net earlier, and knocking himself back into the team of OCE that did force his flash, and with no flash available to him there, and no teammates really around him with both the Shen and the Xerath backing, he just gets caught out too far there, and the long-range Ornn ult into the Ashe Arrow makes an easy pickup.
I guess you could say that foul pulled a foul there, but I'm trash. Insert laugh track here as my dad jokes do not go unnoticed.
It's like a 50. That was like a solid D plus there, Mercenary. That was a bit of a reach, but I'll give it to you. You know, a C minus passing grade. We'll give the C minus passing grade, but a bit of a reach.
Yeah, speaking of an A+ engage, though, here comes Penguinator chasing straight after Afro Boy. Fearless, even diving under tower as multiple members show up. This jungler is absolutely insane and is not scared by anything.
Yeah, Penguinator is... I'll give him a ton of credit. It's incredible that he can be so involved in his team's plays. You know, 3-0-1 here on the Vi, has 4 kill participation, and still somehow has 227 CS, eclipsing his bot laner, who in his mid lane is up in his mid laner by 70 CS, which your mid laner should always be your highest, you know, generally your highest farming champion. If not that, your bot laner. It is just insane what Penguinator is doing on these junglers right now.
Definitely indeed, but meanwhile, both mid laners are down in the bot lane right now. Numbers to get back up. We do have the Drake coming up in about 2:30 here, as it looks like members of does look like members of CUW are going to back up, clear some vision, and prep for their next shove here. Looking across the board, we have 3 Drakes up. We have just about 10k in gold difference right now, as we have a little bit of a poke coming out from Heirloom. Really wants to do some damage. But overall, it's a dominating factor here. You're on Soul Point. Baron is open to you whenever you want. You have the pressure. It's just OC needs to try to find some sort of miracle or just a really good team fight engage.
I mean, it has to be around this 4th Drake here, Mercenary. They have to try to get some good vision. They need to take any item spikes they can get right now. They have to make a play on this dragon. If they lose this soul, if they lose the fight, it's probably going to be soul into Baron, and that's probably the death sentence. They're already 10k gold behind. They cannot take any more of a deficit, particularly with the Ocean Soul being the soul on the table.
Yeah, but as we have a fight happen here, Percy is doing a ton of damage to Doggy the Dog, the ulti getting popped as well from Heirloom, who's going to force out the Lulu ultimate there in the end. Percy is still in the fight, getting caught out by the root, taking some solid damage of his own. He's not able to dash over the wall, and he's going to take enough damage from Doggy to do some damage. Portal's trying to flash with the ulti over the wall, not going to get it in the end, and a tower's going to go down in the bot lane. More damage is going around circle right now. Unfortunately, another member's caught out there in the form of Keenan. It's currently a 3-for-1. A lot of mistakes happen there from the side of OC, and it's a real shame to see what happened there.
That is a shame, and actually we can see in chat, Portals, oh geez, hope you didn't see that. Unfortunately, we did. I'm not sure it would have made a huge difference. We're already in a lot of trouble, but certainly would have turned the fight into a more interesting direction. Unfortunately, CUW does come away with a 4-for-1 there. It will take down a bot lane inhibitor and probably fall back to this Drake spawning in 22 seconds to take that one for free.
Yeah, they were able to get not only 2 towers, but they were also able to get an inhib as well, doing some solid damage to Doggy, being forced to flash due to Heirloom's solid damage counts. Andradic diving into the backline, trying to do some damage, really testing the waters here, and honestly, it's working out for him in the end. Meanwhile, members are messing around here. The pressure's coming around. Here comes Penguinator around from the corner with the Vi, along with Perseus, who are able to get down that inhib. The final Drake is up. The bells are tolling, and Doggy wants to make this fight a good one, forcing the flash here. Heirloom's also forced a flash over the wall, but the ulti's going to be there in the end. Syndratic is going to get caught off guard here, not able to pull the E back, and going to get taken out by Sonic Degen. Meanwhile, Penguinator is able to be unstoppable and take down the Nico, getting a double kill on top of the Lulu as well. Doggy's going to get poked out as well. The triple kill going right over to Ornn. We might see a Quadra. Penguinator is still around the corner. Another character going down. Fall's going to be taking that away, picking up a double kill for their own. A solid team fight, a last-ditch effort here at nearly 30 minutes. There goes one tower. No timers are up. And you are looking at your Iowa Division C champion here, guys. These are your champions, CUW Esports.
Yep, they've absolutely done it, Mercenary, and it's on the backs of the same people this time. In particular, Penguinator picking up a triple kill on the Vi of all people in this final team fight. They will take their time finishing this Nexus, and they will savor this championship in Iowa C League of Legends.
Where's the trumpets blowing? I don't hear the victory trumpets just quite yet. We don't have those, but one day we will have those. But once again, a solid match for CUW there, who wanted to test their waters with their interesting comp, and they got the chance to in the end. Just taking a look at the damage numbers as we're diving into those just right now. Absolutely insane damage coming out from Heirloom at 33k. The support had the most damage on the team and in the game. That's absolutely terrifying. But following it up shortly will be the Caitlyn at 16k, and then the jungler, the man himself, Penguinator, at 12k in general. Honestly, a terrifying second fight there from CUW, but honestly, it was a great matchup to see in general.
That was a great matchup. Unfortunately, the second match just a little bit tough right from the start. You can see it all in the damage numbers there from Heirloom on the support. Just so hard for the bot lane of OC Eagles to access the wave farm in any way, shape, or form, and that just snowballed the match. But definitely a good series overall, particularly game one. We saw a very, very competitive match, one that could have gone either way, and happy to see these teams put up a good show here for the finals. But ultimately, CUW, through the strength of their overall team and through these carries, particularly Penguinator, Foul, and Syndrotic in game one, Heirloom in game two also really putting pedal to the metal and taking home this championship.
Definitely indeed, but this is the part of the show where I like to name the MVP here, or at least what we think for this finals match. And honestly, my ticket's gonna have to go straight over to Penguinator. You see him every time consistently diving into that backline, making plays across the map, and still having the most farm out of both games on either side. My MVP ticket's going straight over to Penguinator. What about you, DJ?
Actually, absolutely have to agree with you tonight, Mercenary. I think I have a couple mistakes in the first match, but that was a part of sort of the play style, trying to be greedy, trying to take as many camps as possible. And as we mentioned, to have this much kill participation in a team while having that much farm on a jungler of all champions, typically someone who sacrifices their own resources to allow their solo lanes or the rest of their team to get ahead. To see such participation, to see such dominance in the jungle in two straight matches, and to really make the difference, taking down Sonic PJ in the backline every fight, I do have to agree with you. I think Penguinator takes the MVP of the match tonight.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. What a great matchup here, but with that, we are going to turn in for the night. Thank you all so much for watching, even through our technical difficulties there. But we will love to see you guys tomorrow, so we're going to continue more of our finals matches. If you want to see who is going to be playing next up, I know tomorrow we're going to be having our matchup here in a B division between Weird Champ and Plata of Plomo. But if you guys want to see what we have coming up next and what is going to be happening for next split, make sure you go to any of our social media in the tabs below, or just look up at GG Leagues to see what's going on. And if you want to join in for next split, you want to hear us sing your praises and your next crazy jungle strats, or maybe even land the next penta, make sure you go to ggleagues.com and try to find a team in your area. And if you don't, talk to any of our members here. We would love to set up a team in your area. Once again, GG to both teams. GG to you guys for tuning in, and GG to CUW Esports, your Iowa Division C champions. I hope you guys have a good night, and we'll see you all tomorrow.